Aries. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for October of 2021. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas in San Francisco.
And today, Aries, there are strong relationship themes in your horoscope this month, both contractual relationships and the negotiation and the agreements that happen there, but also the deeper aspects of relationship, particularly around finances and intimacy. And because of all these relationship themes, you might find yourself with a lot of questions about your relationships. If you do, the lifelong love reading is the best one to get. You'll find a link for that in the YouTube description below. Hey, Julia, what do you have to tell the Aries of the world about Venus, Mercury, and Mars today?
Well, a lot of good stuff. Hey there, Aries. We'll begin with Venus. She's the planet of relationship, and wherever we have her is where we experience more pleasure that month. So Venus starts the month in your 8th house, and she's going to be there for the first week. So the 8th house, on one level, it means other people's money, the money you share with the people closest to you. And Venus in here can be a great time for gaining more through shared resources, maybe having a joint credit card with your partner, an inheritance, doing stocks with your family, for example. And since the 8th house is a very kind of sexual place too, with Venus in here, this can be a very physically amorous transit as well. Then on October 7th, Venus moves into your 9th house. This is the house of travel, adventure, expansiveness. And when Venus comes into this house, you probably, a really good use of this transit is maybe going on a pleasure trip, doing something expansive, maybe taking a course and learning something new. Since Venus is relationship oriented, these are things you could maybe do with your partner if you're in a relationship, or if you're single, maybe you meet somebody on a holiday romance or are attracted to somebody who comes from a really different background than you, because the 9th house rules foreigners. Then Mercury, the planet of communication and mentation, starts the month retrograde in your 7th house of partnerships. So this can affect your romantic partnerships as well as business partners or even consultants, because that's another meaning of the 7th house. So with Mercury retrograde, it's a time of miscommunications, maybe with your romantic partner, business partner, or even consultants you might hire, like a lawyer or a doctor. Maybe you have to go back and get a second opinion. And Mercury, when Mercury's retrograde, it can be a time of rethinking and redoing any of these things. But on October 9th, that's a very interesting day, because the Sun and Mercury will be exactly conjoined each other. We like to call that Lesser Epiphany Day. And it can be a time of some sudden insights and aha moments, especially with those matters I was just discussing. Then by October 18th, Mercury is going to go direct, and slowly over the next week, it's going to pick up some speed and we'll finally be over this retrograde cycle. Then the last planet I'm going to talk about is Mars. That's a planet of action and activity, and it's basically all month in your 7th house. So not only are we having miscommunications in the partnerships in your life, but you might even have some flare-ups and frustrations as well. Probably not the best time to hire a consultant, actually. I would wait until maybe next month would be a little bit better for that. So when Mars is in the 7th, and it can also be a time of a lot of disagreements and arguments with your partner, maybe not getting along as well with your business partner too. But another way of looking at this transit is it can be a good time to do a lot of shared work with maybe your romantic partner, with your business partner, to kind of get out that Mars energy unless it goes towards, more into its more sort of conflict. It can express itself more as conflict unless you kind of express it in a higher way, maybe doing shared work together. Then by October 30th, Mars is going to move into your 8th house. And since we're going to really cover that transit in our next cycle of videos, just stay tuned and you'll hear about what that's going to be like.
There are a couple of moons to talk about, and both of them involve Mars. The first one happens on October 6th. It is a new moon with the Sun and Moon together in the sign of Libra, which is very much the peacemaker, the negotiator, the ambassador. However, Mars is right there with the Sun and the Moon. And so Mars brings in this combative quality, this forceful, willful quality. We're calling this one making peace with adversaries, mostly because of the influence of that Mars. So finding your way to, pleasant negotiations and getting what you want, but also really thinking about the other guy would be great things to do during this moon, which does fall in your seventh house with that, pissed off Mars. But yet, under the auspices of very sweet Libra. The other moon that I want to tell you about is happening 2 weeks later, as moons tend to do. And this one has the moon in Aries opposite that Sun and Mars still in your seventh house, but the moon in Aries being in your first house of identity. And Julia likes to describe this house as a house of embodying, and that's really a thing. This is the house where, when planets are here, you tend to express them, you tend to portray them and be them. And with this moon in Aries, well, there's a bit of a hot-headed mood that you may be in around this moon on October 20th. And I think it's pretty good to pay attention to how your desires and your interest in getting your own way may build to a peak and even explode during a moon like this. And with that Mars there in the seventh house, it's likely that your partners are going to push back against you, whether, again, that would be a business partner or romantic partner, or even a consultant that you work with, or a client that you work with as a consultant. So expect some pushback and try to keep things from exploding too much. So this one we're calling negotiate strongly, then let go, because of the involvement of Pluto. When Pluto is involved, sometimes things can become downright sneaky. There may be manipulation or power and control games that are involved. And whether it's you, behind the scenes doing the machinations, or the other person, doesn't matter. The best response to this moon is to put out what you want, put it out there, then let it go, and definitely let go of attachment to results of what that should look like. That's going to yield the best results during this moon. Now, the last thing I want to tell you about, actually, before I do, I want to say that we've got videos saying more about these moons on our YouTube playlist for October 2021 on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. You can find out a lot more about these moons and what they'll feel like and how to handle them by consulting that playlist. So on October 22, the sun leaves the sign of Libra and moves into the sign of Scorpio. Now, we are Western tropical astrologers, which means that we view these signs as seasons, not constellations. And this is the third of the 3 harvest signs that come in a row. Virgo being the separating from the wheat from the chaff, Libra being the final harvesting of vegetables, leaves falling from the trees. And then in Scorpio comes the butchering season, when the herds are culled and the meat is put away for the winter. So this is very much a season of death. It's also a season of rebirth. And for you, the sun comes into the 8th house, which is very much aligned with those meanings, being ruled along with Scorpio by that planet Pluto, lord of the underworld. Wherever the sun goes, you want to bring the spotlight of attention, and you want to allow the life force energy of your attention to infuse this area with conscious awareness and also vitality. This is the arena of things that are generally hidden from the public eye. This is an arena of the recesses and deep pockets of intimate relating in your life, including finances and also sexuality. So the sun entering into this house is saying, bring the candle of light, bring the light of awareness into this arena. Notice what's actually going on here, shine that flashlight around in the dark corners, and let it be filled with vitality from that examination. All right, well, that's what we have for you today, Aries. Hope you enjoyed it. You can always find horoscopes like this one on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology, organized for you into a playlist. You can find them on our website, pandoraastrology.com, in the navigation bar. And also on our website, you'll find the monthly forecast with the news of the month and the lunations. And you can get classes and take classes and get readings as well. Until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye-bye.
Bye.